Well, hello everyone. Michelle here from the Creative Cove. Thank you for joining me. Today is a giant, massive flip through of these journals I have finally completed. They have been a huge work in progress here. I have 3 of them. They are stuffed to the max, but so much fun to make. And I want to share them with you today. So if you're interested in seeing them, stick around. It is going to be a long video and you might be sick of my voice by the end of it. But you can always mute me and just look to see what I have been up to. These will be on my Etsy shop. They are, of course, a bit pricey because they are a significant amount of work. They have been months in the making and a labor of love. So they are a lot of work, but I do love making them and I love every minute of it. So let me share with you what I have made. So this is journal number 6. This was the very first one I started. Like always, I have a protective cover, so to speak, on my journals. This one is more of a decorative element than it is actually protecting because the original cover has fabric on it, which I will show you in a second. So you can see I just kind of went to town with all these little bits and pieces, antique brooches, just everything I had in my stash, just playing. I tried to make the journals as interactive as possible. So things that you can detach and move, things like this here with the paper clip, with the, what is that called? Safety pin. And it has a clasp, which is adjustable. So as you build and stuff the journal, adding things to it, you can make it longer, make it fatter. Got the little charms here on there. And on this side, I have this little guy dangling. Every opportunity to put something on, I did. Like, I need help. But I just love it. So here is the actual journal cover itself. And all of these have been made with that master roll that I did on another video, using it up. So I have none left. I'll have to make more. I added some gold leaf throughout this one. I really enjoy adding the gold leaf. I thought it kind of added a little charm here and there. And it is kind of like a Victorian inspired, all 3 of these botanical journals. I don't know what to call them really, because they have a little bit of everything. So basically it's just journals of things I love and have collected. So some antique lace and some old images out of a 1904 magazine. Just some really fun old stuff. So that's the belt. I call this a belt. So it's just another excuse to make some decorative wrap around the journal. So put that aside for now. This journal is 8 inches tall, 5 inches wide, and 3 inches deep. It has 3 signatures, and it is 38 pages. So here we go. And like I said, this is a fabric cover, so it is pretty tough. You know, it's not like paper where it's going to tear, and I really used a lot of fabric in this. So a lot of original sketches. These are original. I just doodled on. And some plain tags here. I'll try and put things away, but I do want the video not to be ridiculously long. So if things fight me, I'll just skip. And some botanical tags I did recently. A little pin. And I'm just going to pull this off. And underneath is some recent pressed flowers that I did and chopped up on some master boards. So that is actually on my Patreon account, how I do that. And some old papers in here. And some gold leaf, some vintage paper from a book journal that I have. I love it. You're going to see it throughout. And put this back on. My hands are frozen. It was 5 degrees here this morning. Can you believe that? It's been crazy warm to crazy cool. So my hands are a bit numb and cold, sorry. Little image here. Some really pretty ladies. And like I said, it's inspired by, I will try and remember to sign all these. I always forget to do that. So any kind of sketch like this is an original sketch by me. And I've got this really cool old book. I think this is 1898. And you're going to see pieces throughout. So there's just something about the clothes and costumes that they wore back then. I absolutely love it. And that's kind of part of the inspiration. I did use a digital kit in this. I forgot to write that down, actually. I will be sure to link that in the bottom. I printed off 4 pages out of the kit to reuse. I just wanted the blue, and I didn't have time to make my own kit. So I just, I used Ladies off Etsy, and I will make sure I link that. So here is some pressed hydrangea that I put in some resin, little button, and another one of my sketches, and some gold leaf. And it's done on like one of these really old, not old, but on these thicker boards from an old watercolor book that I would have used up. Little tab here. So another one of my sketches. I remember to sign that one. I apologize for my nails. I did some jelly printing this morning. So just some hand sketches, which I always include in my journals. Some of my watercolor print from a carving that I've made. And I love to use my own little bits and pieces. They're unique then. A little writing space, some more hand-drawn, some gold leaf, just flecks of gold leaf, some pressed flowers out of my garden. So a lot of time and energy and love goes into these journals, which makes me so happy. So another old picture out of a magazine. This one I think is out of these really cool old journals I got. I'll see if I have time to show you. They're really neat. They're from, you know what, I'm gonna pull one out. Just make this video that much longer. So here's some of it left over. So London, the Illustrated London News is where it's from. It's 1904. And the images in here are really cool. So I was lucky enough to get a few of these out of a thrift shop for 20 bucks. Oh, sorry. And there's some really beautiful images in here. I love it. Some, I don't think it's vintage. I think it looks vintage, but I don't think it is. Little dangle at the bottom. Some gold leaf and some of that digital. Another one of my drawings. Some daffodils. This is a really old handwritten letter. Not really old, but it's a wartime. I believe it was a Navy letter that in training, a gentleman in training down in Kentucky, writing back to his mother. So I just love the blue, so I added that in there. Another pretty lady in a window, plastic window. A dangle at the top here, some bling, and just stenciled and had some fun marking up this paper with a little bit of space to write in. This is a pressed Cosmo. First time I was able to actually grow them because they never flower for me. And this is one of the, this is really cool. Out of that magazine, this is a really neat 1904 hair advertisement for, I guess, shampoo. But isn't that fun? Like, I would put that in a frame and hang it in my bathroom. I just think they're really neat, these advertisements. This is an old Assurance Company Limited stock paper. I got it in an antique shop, but I love the blue, and it is super thick, and it's got some lovely color to it. Thought that was kind of fun to add. Okay, and this lady here on a tag. Something fun, and this opens up and has another drawing in it of mine. So very plain in here, lots of little hiding writing space, things for you to glue in, some decorative pockets, and this little tag holds it closed. Put this on. I like to try and put things back so that if you do end up wanting this book, you know exactly where everything went in the video. Rest of that letter. And then this little guy pulls out, just a little tag. And a little pocket, another little pocket from my envelope here. with another hand-drawn image. And inside one of my botanical prints, which I had shown, I think this is on YouTube. I can't remember what's on Patreon and what's on YouTube anymore. She's out of a different magazine. I think she's an actress, actually. But I love the costumes. Like, can you imagine the energy it took to get dressed back in Victorian times? If you had money anyways, and you had to, you know, get dressed for breakfast and then had to change for day wear and then change again for supper. Like, that's a lot of work. And I'm probably still in my pajamas while I'm recording this video. It's probably 10 in the morning here. So a little slide out paper clip holder and another sketch and a little thing you can cut up and add in an envelope and another little pressed flower in a pocket. I love these. I think they're so elegant and sweet. I'm just going to put that back in here. And then this side, this is an old original letter from 1887. I just love the paper. So usually when I have paper like this, I don't cover it. So this will slide off and you can see how beautiful the paper is. Look at the handwriting. Like, you know it was done with one of those pens, like feather pens. What are they called? Can't remember. This is a sketch that I've drawn, and I add these throughout my journals. I like to add something interactive that people can color in or watercolor and add to their journals. Another sketch on tissue paper that I've glued down and added some gold leaf to with a little dangle at the bottom. And here's another little dangle of those clusters we made through this little pocket here that I did a print on, and then another drawing that you can paint. So the background papers I've been playing with a little bit by tearing them and inking them up just for a little added texture in the background, so it's not just plain, which I really quite like the results of that. So that's signature number 1. So starting signature number 2, this is that beautiful paper that I got out of a book from a long time ago. I've been hard pressed to find any other book like this because I think I only have a few pages left. And I love them. I think they're so pretty. I'm sorry, don't know what the book was called. It's some sort of etching stylus book. So here is a pressed fern out of my garden, and I have varnished it, so it's very flexible. An old library card, and then just embellish the bottom. 1998 was the last time that book was checked out from Baysville Public Library, which is actually just up the road from me. An antique piece of book that I glue down. You'll find these throughout my journals because I love them. They're so pretty. You might have a couple of loose ones throughout the journals as well, just to play with. Another pressed hydrangea, little pocket, another drawing to color in, and a piece of the botanical print that you can glue and rip up and do as you please. And this folds out like this with a little bit of little tiny pocket, and that is lavender. That is not for my garden, that is for my friend's garden. Because some reason I can't grow lavender. It always dies on me. Another sketch on tissue paper, and then just an embellished page. You can write and journal in or glue down extra bits to. Here's the rest of that paper. See if I can get it open here. Oh no, this is a different one. Oh, I love the feel of this. It's got a bit of a blue tinge to it, and it's definitely a rag paper. It's pretty old. I can't remember the year. I think it might be at the bottom of this on the other side of the signature, but it's old. Here's a little belly band with a cluster and a couple of antique images out of a book, which you'll find these throughout my journals too, because I have about 6 of those books. I buy them every time I see them. They're different editions every time, like 1950s, 1940s. Love it. Here's another piece out of that catalog, and I just made a little tag out of it. It's really cute. And that just slides in this pocket here. And then a lovely lady, again, out of that fun magazine, 1904. A couple more images here that you can decorate with. She doesn't look too impressed. Her hat's giving her a headache. It's so heavy. Another scrap piece of that paper. I love the patina to this paper. There's not a lot of ink that's being used. A couple of spots here and there, but this color is all, well, that's ink, sorry. But these colors are all patinaed on their own, which is something I really love. And try to acquire as I thrift. Little tab that slits on the top for some additional. There's one that's glued down, and then a couple that you can color. And then a pocket here with a tag. And that slides in there. And I think this flips over. Yeah, and then some writing space with stamps. So lots of fun. Try to make it a little bit interactive as much as possible, but I'm always stuffing these journals. I have so much fun making them. So you can tell it, what would you call this? Like botanical vintage, botanical, I don't know, because it's got these beautiful gowns in them and fashion. Like I love the fashion out of this. So I don't know what category to put these books in. So here's the rest of that really cool blue paper. So it's 1844. So pretty. An old coloring book. Another lovely lady. And a little dangle at the bottom here with some flowers and some bling. And look at the costumes. That is skinny. Just so beautiful. Love it. And another little image here you can use. This one is colored in a little bit with some inks, my drawings, and it goes in a little envelope with a pressed flower. This envelope's getting very fragile. It's very old music paper. It probably wasn't the best choice to use, but it's so antique. I think this was 1909, 1910 maybe, and it's really pretty. Just a little jelly plate print there. Experiment on a really old piece of paper. So you can see I just keep using those digitals throughout and just tearing little bits and pieces off. My goal in the next couple of journals that I do, the pink ones that I'm working on Patreon right now, I'm doing my own paper, like doing my own digitals. So more time consuming, but you get unique stuff. So this blue is part of that original letter from the naval officer. It's in here somewhere, this one. It's just such a pretty blue, so I glued it down and then did one of my sketches on top. Some more of that paper. I just leave it as is. It's just so pretty. And then a skeleton leaf, which I thought was really neat. I didn't get these. I've tried to do my own skeleton leaves and I couldn't. So these I purchased, and then sorry for the glare, but I just put them between two sticky papers. And now I've got this little piece that you can put on something, and it's just a little ghost of an image, which is quite delicate and pretty, which I think suits this journal. All right, and a couple little tags and drawings, and again, I will go through these and sign them. Another drawing that I have glued down, a little cluster here with a little side pocket or something, and another little pocket here that these guys sit in. And one of these guys, these little tabs, which I showed how to make. This comes out and opens up to another one of those really beautiful old book pages. I love to draw this image, actually. I did a video on a painting, a big masterboard painting based on that plant, because I just love the way the leaves bend and fold. This is just a cluster of some watercolors that I did, and another digital. Actually, this is, I think this might be the same set as the blue. I'll have to research that and add it to the, I can't remember if that's a different digital I already had somewhere. It is different because it's the French one. So I will link that as well. And I've had this digital for a while, so I'm finally using it, and the French writing kind of went quite well with this journal collection. Some page that you can either glue or add writing to if you're a writer. Some of my sticky, ready-to-use images that I have hand-drawn, and another piece of that print on top of just a clustered page. Love this. It looks pretty just plain on its own. And just a little fun arrow paper clip. This is out of that same old book. This is a colored version. So this is at the very beginning of the page. And this one is somebody's watercolor. Doesn't give the artist's name, but I thought it was quite pretty. So this envelope here is a pocket. And then inside the actual pocket is another press specimen. Not sure what kind of plant it is, just out of my garden. And another drawing with another lovely little lady on the cover. And some lace trim, lots of little lace trims throughout. I haven't pointed them out, but. And then some more lavender in a pocket with some more of that beautiful blue paper. Love this paper. And then another drawing I've glued down with some lace and just did some layered textured backing to that page. This is a little cluster you can add something to. Just left the blue so that people can do what they like. Another one of these really cool pages. Like just $2.75, you know? Just gives you an idea of how old it is. How cheap things were back in the day. I mean, that was a lot of money back then, but inflation, man. And then that more of that page with a little pocket at the bottom. Almost there. This is the third signature we've started. Here, this opens up and you've got a little feather. And I thought feathers would be nice to include simply because they wore a lot of feathers in their hats and decorate their clothing. This is a piece of a letter that has kind of ripped. I think it was folded here or folded here and it's ripped, so I just incorporated it in, and it's from 1886, and it also has a really beautiful feel to it. So it's original, it's not a photocopy. And here's the actual letter. There's the old handwriting on that one too. Just a little stitching down the side, just for some fun. A very messy stitch, which was intentional. And this is an old piece of, if you've watched my channel before, my other flip throughs, this is an old survey book, and I have very little of this left, but it's absolutely beautiful. And it's been coffee dyed, so that's why it's kind of got that brown vibe to it, but it's just so pretty. This is all throughout that book, and it looks like someone has plate etched everything and just scratched a plate. It's just so beautiful. I love it. I wish I could find more survey books, but they're really hard to find. This is the original print that I did on some heavy cardstock, and I just loved it, so I put it as kind of like a centerpiece. You can decorate around it if you want. Just love that piece. Little side pocket here with a piece of that tree book in it. Plain papers and a little bit more botanical. Lots of textures in this book. Again, sorry for the fingers. Just beautiful to touch, which is what I try to build in my journals, is something very tangible. If you love journals or paper making or anything like that, then it's all about the feel, right? And the collection of really cool papers like this. So this is, I thought, original. It came to me as an original, but to me it feels like a photocopy. So I don't know, it's shiny, like the pencil is shiny. So I don't know about this one, but it's still a pretty cool piece that you can play with and make some fun stuff with. This slides off. Oops, that's on the other side. This slides off, and it's one of those paper clips. You can just open it up, and some journal space, a little dangle, and a little pressed flower in there. That sits on this. And on the other side is a pretty tag with some more of my, this is my mini roses that I pressed, their leaves, and a nice little lady with some vintage. I don't know how vintage this is. It's hard to tell. I was told it was, but you never know. It feels and looks like it is, but I can't promise anything about that. but it definitely gives that vibe off that it is old. Okay, almost done, the first one. So here is a little tag that I did with some baby's breath that I had dipped in black paint just to see if it would work, and it did. So, and then I just put these nice little polished corners on, so that can be removed. There's the second half of that letter with that really old paper. Little cluster here, just something fun. Another little slide-on paper clip with another little cluster with some bling on there. And then it's holding a tag that I hand drew on this side. The rest of that other piece of paper, lovely little lady that you can glue wherever you like. In a pocket, again with some of that pretty blue digitals. I tried to do my own, I just didn't have the time. And almost to the end here, little lace edge and an old typed letter on the typewriter. This paper is kind of cool. It feels like rice paper. And this is from 1917. So I put it in because of the blue writing. So you can either keep it like that or cut it up and use it in the journal. And a little piece of paper here that's had some gold leaf stuck to it for writing space. And the back page, which is part of that book. And another piece of that beautiful antique paper from that botanical journal that I love so much. And that's it, and that's the back cover. So that's journal number 6. All right. Just wrap that there and move that aside, and we'll get into journal number 7. So again, you can mute me. I totally won't be offended. I know my husband doesn't listen to me, so, or my children. So this guy is, journal number 7 is 8 inches by 4 3/4, the original journal. This is a bit bigger, the cover, and 3 inches. So it's a little bit smaller because I use up the materials I have, and it's only smaller width-wise. It's it's 1/4 inch smaller, but it has 48 pages and 3 signatures. So this is the outer cover that I have sewn to protect the book. What I like is if you are a journal collector, like you buy from other artists or you make your own, these are interchangeable, which I like. So I left the inside pretty plain. It's just sewn, nothing too fancy. It's pretty messy sewn because I'm not a good sewer, and I want it to look handmade, to be honest. Would I like to be able to sew much neater? Yes, but I just don't. So that is how it looks, and it is completely handmade, so you can tell that when you open it. So this is the journal here, which I'll show you in a second, but I'm just gonna show you the full cover. So this one just has a splash of blue because the main cover has quite a bit of blue. So I kind of wanted to reverse it a little bit because I still love my neutrals. I'm a neutrals girl, and using blue was big for me, but I fell in love. This fabric here actually inspired me to start Blue Journal, and I have little bits of fabrics throughout in blue, and I've really enjoyed it so much that I've started a pink collection. So lots of little bits and pieces here. I don't think any of this is antique. I think most of it is just recycled costume jewelry that I'm always using up. So that is the protective cover, and this is the journal. So she is tied up across here, but you just pull this and unwrap it from the post, and then she will open up for you. So this is the cover, just like that. And then it's got a lovely little lady on it from that 1904. And then inside, let me just get this out. Oh, this is stuck. Get this out of the way. There we go. Okay, so lots of that little bits of old lace that I really love it. Skeleton leaf, and one of our windows that we did on a video of stash busting with the feather inside. So you can remove these. This is open at the top and you can change things in and out. And on the other side is just a little drawing that I did with some of that digital behind it. So I love these little windows. Another little drawing. I have a lot of drawings in my journals. And some of the paper, again, just breaking up the background a little bit with this little lady as a tuck spot. A little cluster here with some fabric. An original letter that's been typed. I'm assuming the date is on the bottom maybe, but she's old. Not super old because it's typed, but it's old. It's original. A little press specimen there. Anything else in here? I've made these so long ago. Well, not made them, but I've been making them for so long that I can't remember where anything is. So there is a pocket back here. And there's a pocket in here. And then another little pressed flower and a pocket here. Do I have something in there? I can't remember. No, so that can go in there. And then another one that's backed on this thick cardboard. I think she's so cool. I just love the getup. It's just so pretty. All the details in their dresses. I don't know what era that would be. Early 1900s, I guess. So they kind of vary from like early 1900s to Victorian times, whatever I could get my hands on. This is an old recipe book, and I just love the color of this paper. I do a lot of sketching on it. All these sketches that you'll see like this, you can see the recipe typed on the other side. Whenever you find a book like that, if you're into journal making, grab it because it's just got this beautiful color to it. And I don't think it's very old, but I guess it was kind of like a cheap paper in it, or it was exposed to sunlight or something, but all the pages have turned this beautiful, beautiful cream color. And so I leave them blank where I can. I might cover the recipe part, but I leave this side blank so you can draw on it or color it or do whatever you like with it. So here's a little, I'll pull it out. Here's a little tag made out of a piece of that book. So we'll pecan into one of these folders and shove it in there. There we go. And then the other side has another drawing that I did. Just a blank piece of watercolor here, paper, and a little dangle on a paint chip. So this one's got a bumblebee and a flower. And on this side is a tiny little tag using a paint chip and a stamp. And this is another pressed flower of mine. And I kind of like the different heights of these pages so they kind of peekaboo other pages. This is a really cool old piece of paper from 1853 with its original fold. And just you can hear the weight of that paper. Love it. So it has that kind of soft gray blue color, and I just left it because I think it's really pretty just to touch that paper. Another sketch, just glued down. A little bit of paper here that you can add something to, like some writing space. Pressed leaves here that I did with varnish. Love those. Goes in a little pocket. And then this is just scraps of blue fabrics that I might have had kicking around. Oh, I'm gonna have to fix that. Got glues come off there. This is really pretty. This is one of my pressed hydrangeas. I think actually this one was purchased because it's blue. I don't have blue hydrangeas here. So sometimes I'll do like a couple of packs of pressed flowers off Amazon for a workshop that I might be doing. And I did this one blue and I just love it. And I actually did it so that there's not one air bubble in there. So woohoo, because that's probably the most challenging part. And then this says, find the joy in the journey, and a little flower. So there's that. So I'll have to fix that little bit of lace. Here is an old coloring book. Really love the coloring book. I think I only have a few pages of that left. And here is another one of those interactive coloring watercolor pages that you can color in, and some pressed lavender in a pocket that you can add to wherever you like. So here is some more pressed flowers that I did on top of a master board. And I really think that's pretty. So delicate, these plants, and a little cluster here that's glued on. Here is one of those really cool book pages out of that tree book. I gotta try and find it. It's Native Trees of Canada, I think. And here's the back page of that letter. So this must have been like the cover page. And then there was another page with the writing in it. Pretty cool. Just love that paper. So I left that blank. Lots of little writing space in there. Another skeletal leaf with a dangle. This one's got a leaf and a lock. I think that's really cute. I love the skeletal leaves. Pressed flowers, again, dyed and stuck on something. There we go. With some little corners on it and some gold leaf on that. Just a little bit of gold leaf in this one, not as much as the first one. And a couple of tags. Again with paint chips in their tiny little pocket. Something about miniatures that just make me happy. Here, this one comes out as well. Let's see if I can get it to come out. It's another sketch with some little tags. I forgot what those are called, but that goes in there. And again, you can interchange this. That's what I love about these windows. You can move the tags, use it as a book page in an actual book, and put something else in here. Nice relaxed lady. And another one of those cooking recipe pages. And this time I glued a vellum envelope to it with a sketch of mine in there. So lots of original art and a little bit of digitals. What else did I want to mention? My own pressed flowers, which I have, another sketch, some lace, and some of that beautiful paper. What's it called? Survey paper, a brain. Here is a little glued on. Sometimes I can't remember if I glued them on or if they are actual slide offs. This is pressed flowers, and it's just part of that bit of masterboard and some pressed flowers. That's some hydrangea there and a little tag. I'm sorry if you hear banging. My neighbor's got a big machine. He's building next door. So sketch that you can watercolor, and some flowers in here. So it has been like sealed. You can't get to it, and they're right in there. That is just some pressed weeds out of my garden, but I thought it was kind of cool. And a little lady. I think she's really pretty. So that is signature number 1. So signature number 2 here is this little window. So another one of these, what are they called? Flowers Cosmo. A little pocket of a tag. And then this opens up to some plain paper that you can glue in. It's a really cool handmade paper. It's really neat. It's got like coconut in it, coconut fibers. So just something fun, and that all closes in. Just gonna find it. There we go. So that, some plain paper, some simple, beautiful, effective botanicals with some stamping. Another stamp on the other side. This is a little sketch that you can take off, and then there's a little pocket here as well. This is glued down. I just cut the negative space out, so it's a little different cluster there. Just kind of pretty. And then it's got a little paint chip tag to this side. So sometimes I'm like, is it part of that page? Is it not part of that page? I can't remember. It's a little angel wing and some little silver trinkets. And again, that's just a paint chip. So this here is a botanical that you can print, that you can glue wherever you like. An old handkerchief. It has some really pretty blue flowers in it and has a really nice soft cotton feel. This is a slide out, I believe. Yeah, this slides off and it holds just another one of those pages. so fun. Hair switches. Oh, look, they had fake hair back then. Who knew? Just a nice little cluster. And then this I did on YouTube as well, how I use some tags to make these things. And I'm stuck on some string here to make these things. And this is just empty. I'm going to add something to that. I missed that. So we'll put a little dangle on there. I have my dangles right here. Let's do it right now. And I will use this one with a button. This is silver. Yeah, made a lot of dangles. I'm a mass maker. It's what I do. I like to mass make things. There we go. Problem solved. Another little tag here of, this is a really old map page of Canada, which is really neat. And another botanical print. I loved making these. I'm definitely going to be doing more as I try to build my own papers. This is really old paper too. It's part of that magazine, that London Journal magazine. Here's a sketch, peony. You can color in. I'm sorry for the banging. Hopefully you guys can't hear it. This guy pulls off as well. And another botanical sketch. I just love them, so I just stuck them everywhere. All right, this is an old paper. It's really beautiful patina blue. Just a little cluster glued there. Another botanical print. This one with the inks. So it's kind of went kind of this warm faded purpley color, which is kind of neat. Here's the other side of that paper. So 1921. It's really neat. Love it. Just a little bit of paper. Some of these have just plain pages, so you have somewhere to decorate and add things to. I don't want to stuff every page because, again, I want the book to be interactive. And another one of those old 1909 pages, the other half, you can add to. Another botanical print. Like I said, can't get enough of those. Pretty lady with a dangle and some bling. And opens up. It's a stamp card, like a time stamp card. And then this opens as well, and she slides off as well. So she's just a lovely little cluster of slide on paper clip here with some journaling space. And you can also tuck something small in there if you want to. And then opens up to a beautiful piece that comes out, so you can interchange sizes of pressed flower. And again, it's varnished, so it's protected without that plastic feel, which is quite nice. Another botanical print with some stamping on it. This is just a nice piece of paper. I think it's from like a scrapbook page or something. It's got black in it, which I thought kind of pops nicely with these pages. And another sketched color in, another tag that comes out, but I'm not gonna pull it out because they're paying the butt to get back in. And then maybe I will. There we go. So this one's kind of plastic, and on the inside and the other side are my sketches that have been sewn in. So, and then a plastic window. So again, you can change these around. Another little lady and an old postcard. I don't know if this has a date on it or not. Don't see one. But her name's Lottie. Sounds like an old-fashioned name. And it must be a school ground. Yeah, public and high school, Gravenhurst, Muskoka. It's an oldie. And some sketches. So watercolor, a sketch, and this really cool embossed piece of paper that you can rip up and decorate. And then this just folds open. So you can tear this off, and use it somewhere else. And then on the other side here is another really beautiful skeletal leaf, which is on the cover. There's one on the cover of this journal, like protective cover, because I just love them. They're just so pretty and delicate. And a little tag with some lavender and a dangle and some lace. And that just sits in this corner. So little pops of that paper Not too much blue, but I think enough blue to call it a blue journal, or at least blue inspired. So pressed flower here. And I love this image. I should have used her on a cover. I think she's just so pretty. And this guy here is another big tag. And these guys come out. And then you can put whatever you like in your tag. So this, can't remember what these are called. But they're actually bright white in the summer. And they, when you press them, they go this kind of brown color. So they're quite pretty. And a piece of fern in a little paper pocket. Almost there on number 2. Another botanical print, some lace, and a little pocket here with something you can color in. That's a poppy. And this really pretty old butterfly paper out of Canadian Animal magazine. So here's the other side with a little bit of a hummingbird. A pressed ginkgo leaf that I got from Kentucky when I visited my friend. So I've got a couple of these. But I found a ginkgo tree growing in Muskoka on the downtown core, which I didn't think they could grow this far north. But so I'll be pinching a few leaves off that tree before they fall off and pressing them, because I absolutely love the shape of this leaf. I think it's so cool. Another pressed fern here, again with a varnished finish, so it's flexible. So it's not too much plastic going on. And a couple little pieces that come out that you can decorate with. Off this slide, that also pulls off. And then on this side is just some more of that butterfly paper and a couple of little watercolor swatches in blue. A nice little lady on some more botanical printing. I can't get enough of it. I like just seeing the layers and the warm colors with the blue. I just kept going. I have enough to make another journal, actually. I might do one more big one for myself. Another little sketch here. And a tag with some more fern in it. I love these little tags. They're simple. I mean, these make really nice birthday gift tags even, you know. And I just love the layers. Some lace and some blue with another tag. Can't have enough tags because, like I said, you can take them out and use them and replace it with something else. Little cluster of paper here. And on this side, a little belly band. So there's a pocket on this side of the belly band. And then there's the belly band underneath with another pressed flower. So pretty. And some fancy corners on there. That's out of that old book of leaves, of trees, I should say. And this guy comes out as well. You have to kind of bend him a little to get him out. There's a little pocket, and there's one of my sketches. And again, you can draw and write in here, a little hidden spot for writing. And then a little fun burst of bright, bright blue, royal blue. A little unexpected pop color. And then this is just a sketch that you can color in, slide back in. And then another lovely little lady. And then the back cover. I'm just going to cut this strand here because it's starting to fray too much. There we go. The more frayed, the better. But that's getting to be annoying. All right. So then this, like I said, ties back up in here. And then we will do journal number 8. I'm just going to leave it like that. Excuse me, I'm talking too much. I'm drying myself out. So this one wraps around itself. So this is journal number 8, and she's fat. Excuse me, sorry. She is 8 inches by 5 inches by 3.5 inches wide, the original inside. And the outer cover is just a little bit thicker. So I was originally going to sew these to the inside, but I really like the kind of look of the drapiness on the back end. So it does cover her face a little bit, but usually your books are showing this way on a shelf. And so I decided to leave it like that, and it wraps around. And again, this is the protective cover. So let me just unwrap this. So you can see normally I would have this kind of sewn in here so that it can pull and wrap on itself, but I decided to leave it the way it is and wrap around the journal completely. So this is the cover. So lots of little bits and pieces here, and a little handmade trinket up here. And this really lovely lady, she stays there. She's glued on. Just a little pop of blue, because again, there's quite a bit of blue on the very beginning that pops out. So I don't like to add too much color. I'm not a super colorful person that way, but little pops of this kind of soft blue with the brown, I really fell in love with. So this is the journal number 8, and it has a post lock as well with an elastic on it. And it has the little post that you wrap that around. And I didn't do too much to cover the journal on this one because I really love this paper. This is out of that 1904 magazines. And this is the back end. And I thought it was just pretty on its own. So I just added a little interest on the spine. And then I added some photo edges here just to help reinforce and protect it, because again, it's just old paper. So let's get started on this one. This one is 74 pages and 4 signatures. So she's chunky. She a big girl. I love it. But she's not a skater mouth. So I did leave quite a few pages loose, which is why this has an elastic closure, because you can add as you go, which to me is the whole point. You know, you want to be able to use it and play with it and touch it and feel it and add to it. So a lot of the elements you'll see will repeat themselves throughout these 3 journals because I'm a mass maker and I like to build a lot of things all at once. So a little tag here and a lovely little botanical, some really cool fabric, which I found later. So there's only this book has it, and a little pocket here that holds some stuff. Pressed flower, and this is a paint chip, which I thought is green, but it kind of goes a little bit with these, and it's soft. It's the same tone, so I liked it. Another one of those vintage pages. Another sketch, which has like a little tuck spot. A really old, must be the other half of that letter, because it's got that same paper, and this is 1844, I believe. It's a really cool paper. One of my sketches on a paper, just a little birdie. This is glued down, but it's really pretty, what's it called? Pressed fern. I really love the ferns. I just love the texture they have. Little cluster here at the bottom. Another sketch. So you can see the patterns do repeat themselves. You can tuck this up and in if you want, or something else underneath it. There is this lady here. She comes out. Look at that hat. That's a lot of feathers. Oh, gotta fix that. Dang it. Got a little vent when I shoved it in there. And this paper here is really cool paper. It's from that same magazine as her, but it's all blue advertising. It was really neat. So all the little carts and stuff. Just love it. This, of course, slides off, this paper clip with a dangle here. So there's a little paper clip slide off. I'm going to leave her out because I want to repair that. And another postcard. This one is Highway Bridge, Oxtongue Lake, Ontario. This one has not been used. Made in Canada. Kind of an old photo. Here is one of those pages. So I kept this page intact, and it is an advertisement for Cadbury's Cocoa from 1904. How fun is that? So kind of a piece of history, really. Isn't that fun? I love it. I love these pages. I thought they were so neat. And here's some interesting little articles. So it's kind of neat to see how things were advertised back in the day. and how they sold things to the public. You know, you're like, ooh, not sure that's legal now. But the advertisement and the fonts and stuff that they used back then, I think is really neat to see. So there's a whole page in there of that. I'll shove that back in. More of that pretty book page from the trees, what's it called? Native Trees of Canada. Let me grab it, because I know somebody's going to ask. This is the newest edition I have, which is 1952. And this is what it looks like. Because I know I get questions about books that I've used. So you can see just how beautiful the images are. And I've used up 2 other books already that were predated that date. So there's been a lot of additions. Sketch of a peony, I believe. So you can paint that in. Add it where you like. A sketch that I did and I glued down. Just some little papers here that you can write on. But I like the texture of the fonts on this, so I just left it. Another piece that you can remove with the photo corners and paint. And a little piece here that you can glue down wherever you like. Slide that back in. Some washi tape. This is from the washi tape shop. I love this tape. It was a perfect blue. And then a part of an old letter, the other part of that old letter, which has a beautiful blue patina to it. And on this side, I have some more advertisement in vellum pockets. So this old corsets here, so fun. Look at the gowns. Can you imagine wearing that all day? Man, I'm so happy I get to wear pants. I rarely wear a dress. Another one of that really beautiful antique page. This is it here. This is the one I don't rip up. The Fields Notes of America book, and you can just see how beautiful this is. I think this is 1902. 1904 maybe. Sorry, I'm going off the rails, but I know people are going to ask what 1902, what and where I get my pages from. So I just get lucky. I get this. I got from an antique shop. Sorry, secondhand bookstore, and I love this. I got 2 the same day. This one I don't rip up. This one is a little treasure for me, and the other one I rip up. So here's some what looks like bergamot or something. Pretty neat looking flower. And here is a advertisement for skin and cream, I guess. So much fun. You can even feel the difference in the paper. It feels so shiny. If something can feel shiny. It's like, you know what I mean? Like a silky. A little tag here that I've added in with some of that blue paper. And then I made a pocket out of that book I just showed you with a tag with one of my drawings. So lots of drawings. Hope you're still with me. I do a lot all at once. Some more of that blue paper, advertisement paper. It's just kind of neat. Like I said, there'll be more blank pages in this book so that you can add whatever you like. Another little birdie sketch. The back end of that paper, which is 1844. Like that's written by one of those pens that's feathers for sure. Quills, I think. Another piece of that beautiful 1902 book. A sketch that I did. I think I showed that on YouTube the other day. I think I showed some of this book being made. That pretty book underneath. And this beautiful botanical print here with ink splatter. Another sketch. I love sketching echinacea. It's one of my favorite things to sketch. With some beautiful paper and a little bit of that digital. There it is there. Just love it. A little lady. And some of that Canada, there's Lake Ontario there in Toronto. So some of that map page that I mentioned earlier. It's kind of fun to see. I just went fishing in Lake Ontario for the first time. I've lived in Ontario for 29 years now, and I've never been in that lake. There's part of that wildlife almanac where you saw some of that butterfly paper from. So that's the opening page 1981. And some really old patinaed paper here. Another little birdie sketch. I was on a roll. I kept doodling. Blueberry muffins. And some of this Edith Holden paper, because, you know, it's not a journal without some of that beautiful handwriting in it. Some peel off, ready to use stickers that I've drawn, and a little pocket here. This is a little pocket as well, which I should put something in, really. But there is a pocket there. I just don't want to overstuff it. I want people to stuff. Here's one of those little slide out paper clips that we did. Holds a little tag here. Slide that back in. And then a little belly band. So this holds another piece of that paper. So I put these in because, one, they're really pretty. You can glue them, rip them, add them to a journal, do whatever you like with them. And another little pocket on this side with a piece that's glued down. And more of this book. Let me see if I can find this book, because I know people are going to ask me. And it is this right here, fall 1900, Sears, Roebuck and Company. So you can see she's old and full of really cool old papers. So in case you were wondering where those pages are from, Chicago, Illinois. So there you go. I just love the color of the paper. And when you have a collection like this, you slowly build it up, because it does take time. I mean, I don't just go out and spend millions of dollars. I slowly collect it over time, and you don't need a lot of ink because the paper does all the work for you. Some more of that beautiful 1904 blue advertisement paper. There's the cover. So the Illustrated London News, New York, Saturday, April 9th, 1904. So cool. Coolio. Where did that go? Right here. Little pocket. All right, and on this side is a pull out with a little card and some pressed hydrangea again. This is a really old music book that I got. I can't remember the year, I'm sorry, but it's delicate. You pull too hard and it will rip. This I left completely blank because, one, I really love the texture of music paper. Two, because it's a fold out and it's delicate, you can really just add whatever you like to those pages. Another sketch here. Really like the simplicity of that. That is a sketch of thistle. So they're just starting to go to seed now. A butterfly stamp and a cluster. One of my little mini watercolors. Another little mini watercolor cluster. Into a pocket. More of that music book page. And another piece you can color in. Watercolor. It's on water. They're all on watercolor paper. So you can pretty much use a lot of different mediums on that. A little lady you can glue in. She doesn't look too happy though, does she? She's like, I have to wear this ridiculous dress. There's an old piece of paper. 1959. It's got some really beautiful feel to it, like a almost like a cotton paper. And it looks like a bill for 174 pounds. So there you go. So that you can use and cut up the other side of that Edith Holden page. Here's a little lady. She looks much happier. That is a big hat, but how much fun is that hair? I only wish I had hair like hers. Oh, so jealous. So this here opens up and it's got a little pressed leaf in it, and I'm pretty sure I put something in here. I think, yeah. It's a little image of ladies all dressed up with somewhere to go. Put that in there. Come on, do there's something else in there? I might. That's why it's not going in so easy. I don't want it to bend. There we go. And then part of that paper, that blue paper, with another drawing of echinacea turned into a tag on that old survey paper, which is just so pretty. It just folds down and opens up to another little birdie drawing. I went to town on birds in this one. This is an old 1960s, I think it is, 1975, sorry, of a gull. So I used to collect these cards. Photography in them is very old looking. It's not very good photography, I find. Here is just a little cluster page, again using that beautiful blue paper, and a pressed weed out of my garden. More of that. I love these. I could do a whole book just on this book. The other half of that almanac, which is nice because it's got this kind of edging, and then you can put a picture of somebody or something in there. Another slide off paper clip with a botanical tag and a stamped label ready to use. So it's kind of fun. This is my stamp I've carved out. That was one I did quite a long time ago now. A little bit better at it, but still need more practice. And on this side, more of that page. Nottawasaga Bay, Collingwood, Aurelia, all these places local to me. And then some more of that paper and some lavender. Again, you can use wherever you like. A beautiful cookbook, more paper, little watercolor. We're almost there, I promise. Watercolor cluster here on an old book page. I showed you how to do this on a YouTube channel. It's like sewing on a masterboard and creating a design with actual sewing. Here's a little flower on a dangle, piece of that fabric, just a little splash of blue, you know. Little side pocket with another one of my hand carved stamps, a little quickie sketch there, a tag of my own sketches, and another of my own sketch. All on that recipe book page, which I'm in love with. I'm gonna be bummed when I run out of that. Another, I think she's an actress, so that came out of that other book, which I don't have anymore. There was not much left, but I think she's an actress. She looks pretty dramatic, so I'm assuming she is. A little pocket here made with some of that really cool embossed paper with a glued down cutout of my botanical print. Little tag here and more of that paper and some pressed leaves. This is washi tape. I've shown how I do those too, and I make these, you know, sitting in bed watching a movie. They're handy to have. More of that beautiful book pages. I should have had a date on it because I can't remember what it said. And this folds out here, I believe. Yeah, this is a botanical print with some stamps. And a lady I glued down, and then just a cluster page with some of their beautiful gowns and dresses on there. I guess that's everyday wear back in 1900. Another drawing that I sketched and glued down. Couple of old blank pages here. So this is original paper too. It's really neat. I don't know if that has a date on it. 1925. So it's like an invoice of some kind, but it's done on like a rag tissue paper. Out of that, this one, oh yeah, I have a couple of these magazines. So this one is $18.99. So even older. Look at the corset. How do you breathe, girl? Seriously. Oh, I don't know. I'm getting winded just thinking about it. That's one tight corset. Whew. But that's what we did as women. You know, no pain, no gain. But yeah, pretty cool image, right? From an advertisement from 1899. Really cool. And another piece of that book page. Another piece of this old ledger, not a ledger, but index out of an old book. I'm not sure which book it is anymore. They kind of all fade into one after a while. So another tag. I really love these, like I said before, and I leave the envelopes blank because I think you can draw or write somebody's name or anything on it. Another sketch glued down. Another sketch. And I just left that blank. Here is a slide off paper clip again with using some of these different fabrics and laces. And then this opens up and you got a couple of goodies in that pocket too. Another sketch. I know that, like, you can do whatever you want with these. Just flip through and touch everything like I do. I'm just gonna slide this back on. And then on this side, there's this little piece that comes out, which is a watercolor bookmark. Not water, sketched book. Sketch on a book page on watercolor paper. And another one of that, the other side of that 1899 image. Look at that cool jacket she's wearing. That's cool. What does it say, actually? Black plush cape trimmed cloth applique. Outlined with jet black beads. Collar deep flounce. Caracol fur. Lined quilted silk. 3 pounds and 18. 3 pounds and 18 cents. That doesn't make sense. But anyways, 3 pounds. You imagine what that would be today, especially fur? Forget about it. All right, stamped on 1948. 5 p.m. Some more pages here, just kind of simple, so the book can be filled more without me making it massive. A little belly band with a sketch, one of my sketches on there, and then this really cool old government deposit type assurance company letter. I don't know what these are, but they're kind of neat. I have a couple of them, and this one it's really thick, and it's definitely 100% rag paper because it feels like cotton. So there you go. It can be cut up and decorated with. Some more papers. Little cluster, so it's not just plain paper. Same on this side. Almost done. One more signature to go. And then I got this guy here, another sketch in a little vellum pocket. A little book page with a glued down varnished image of my, I'm not sure, some sort of leaf from the garden. Another skeletal leaf that you can do as you please. And part of that map page again. This one pulls out and you can paint it. This we did on a YouTube video with the feather, so it's permanently sewn in there, and I stamped on the feather, which I think was kind of cool. And using up old file folders. And I glued that to an old page as well. I'm not sure what year that one is. It might be on the other side. Another sketch in a pocket with a little cluster. And one of those things I showed you earlier, the peel of stickers. Another one of my little sketches on this beautiful paper. Part of that National Parks of Canada book I showed you earlier, the almanac. And this is a Japanese artist. I'm assuming that's their signature, but I can't read it. Some really beautiful images in there. Coffee dyed paper for you to write on. A sketch here that I did on an envelope, and another pressed fern of some kind out of the garden. All out of my garden except that blue one, I believe, that I showed you on the other book was purchased. Botanical print, kind of a darker one, and then part of that page. This kind of thing too, like, to me, you could cut this. I wouldn't rip it right here so it does the other page doesn't fall out, but if you love this font, I mean, you can slice this down here and use this paper elsewhere in the journal. You know, just some ideas on how to use, because the font, the old type font is pretty cool. A couple more, another sketch of mine, and a pressed flower just left on its own so you can decorate it. Some blue lace. Did I skip one? Yes. So a pocket here that you can add something to, and some of my botanical prints again. And I sewed down one of those papers with some digital behind it. A little botanical print here, and another page. Kind of rushing here because this video is ridiculously long. But I've been busy bee. Little rose dangle. I've been very busy. And I've enjoyed every minute of it. Another little piece you can watercolor. The rest of that Japanese artist page. Just love it. And this here's more little tags you can play with on a little ripped paper to collage. So just so the papers aren't quite the same, you know, just flat, boring pages. These have the little carriages in it, little baby carriages, strollers, also known as prams. And here is one of those peel and stick labels that I've done with my drawing. The rest of that letter, which I don't see a date on that one, but it's definitely old. And another little cluster here. Ooh, this is open. Poking myself. With another rose and a leaf, and another pressed flower with some textured paper. I hope to get an embosser soon because I'm just loving embossed paper. It's a whole game changer for me. And more of that map, and then just a plain music page, and then the back with the print. Ooh, we made it. Okay, I'm not sure how long that video was. That was crazy. I'm gonna make sure I glue that. But that is them. That is the 3 of them. Oh, I hope you enjoyed the flip through. I hope it gave you some inspiration. I hope it kind of, oops, sorry. I hope that it kind of inspires you to see things outside the box when it comes to papers as well. When you're looking through junk journals or, I mean, like old book pages and things, you think, well, what would I use that for? It's just amazing what you can make out of all that junk. But thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you sticking around and watching what I've made. It means a lot to me to share this with you, so I'd love your feedback. You know, the book's too big, too small, too stuffed, not stuffed enough. For me, is the subject matter cohesive with the costumes and the birds and the sketches and all that? Does it make sense to you? I mean, it makes sense to me, but does it make sense to you? Let me know. And again, thank you so much for joining me, and have a lovely day, everyone. Take care.